Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I hope you all are having a great start to the new year. I know I am, so far. I'm hoping it stays that way. But yeah, I just wanted to talk about the topic of agnosticism and how I became one recently. Like, I think about last year I started identifying as agnostic. Now, for those that don't know, agnosticism, or just simply agnostic, pretty much means that, in a nutshell, it means, you don't know or don't really care if there is a God out there, whether that be the Christian God, Buddha, whatever other God out there. That's basically it in a nutshell. Now, there are a few different variations to this definition because it kind of depends on who you ask, especially because online, for those who are kind of into this topic, there's also like a subcategory of being agnostic theist, which is I think it pretty much means that you're leaning towards believing in God, but like not 100% sure. And there's agnostic atheist, which is don't really know or care if to believe in a God or if there is a God, but you're leaning towards like not believing in him. So, and then the term agnostic itself, like I said, there's slightly different variations depending on who you ask. But like I said, in a nutshell, it's pretty much you don't know or don't care if there is a God out there or not. So, how I came to being agnostic after growing up Christian, my family, so my mother identified as Christian when I was younger, and because she took me to church with her when I was growing up, I also identified as Christian. I got baptized, and I even got my own Bible at one point, and I said I believe in God. My dad, who I thought was Christian, actually told me that he's been atheist his whole life, or at least most of his life, and that he only went to church with us just because that's what my mom really wanted, and he was pretty much just there as support. And then my brother, who I also didn't realize until recently, never came with us to church, and I didn't think about it that much back then, but now I do, and I realize it's because he's also agnostic, or at the very least, he just doesn't know or simply doesn't care about God enough to put a label on his beliefs. So, my journey was a very wavering, gradual process of, from Christianity to agnosticism. And that's because, I'm trying to figure out how to start this. So as a little kid, like I said, I went to church, believed in God. We weren't frequent churchgoers. We just went like during the holidays, like Easter and Christmas, and then a couple times in between. So we were semi-frequent, I guess. Yeah, and as a kid, I liked going to church. I liked interacting with other fellow churchgoers and believers and whatnot. I myself identify as Christian up until like a year ago, and things didn't start getting rocky with my relationship with God and Christianity until I was a teenager. And for those who don't know, I'm gay. My previous video before this one was me telling my story about how I came out of the closet. And so, growing up in the church, you're told about how being gay is a major sin. It's wrong. It's unnatural. Yada yada yada. I'm sure you know the whole spiel by now. And as a teenager, I began to realize that I might be gay because I was having these feelings towards guys. So I was terrified about going to hell because I thought that being gay was pretty much a sentence to being tortured in the afterlife. Because you always heard that it's such a deadly sin to be gay. Like it's condemned. And that whole mindset was ingrained in me as a little kid, that I can't be gay, because if I'm gay, that means I'm going to go to hell, so I don't want to be gay. Well, it's not how it works, because as much as I suppressed it and denied it, still gay. And I had quite a few problems with that. I really questioned God in Christianity, because I'm just like, God, why are you making me feel like this? Why do I have these feelings towards other guys? Like, it doesn't make any sense. You're saying it's a sin to be gay, but so why am I feeling this about other guys then? Like, am I just doomed to go to hell no matter what? It was so hard to wrap my mind around when I was that age, from like 11 or 12 to 15. And I was so like upset and confused with God and the church, and it put me in a little bit of a spiral, because you grow up hearing you can't be this, but then I'm over here thinking to myself, okay, well, I feel like this, I don't want to be this, but I have a feeling I am this. So what the hell, God? Why am I going through this? Why specifically me? Why was I chosen to feel like this? And so I was really upset with God. Like I said before, I think that was like the beginning of my rocky relationship with God and the church, and I didn't understand it. I didn't understand what was going on. Now, eventually I came out as gay at 15. Family was supportive, and I came out because I told myself I didn't want to deal with this frustration anymore. I didn't want to suppress it anymore. I knew if I kept it in, I would be heading down a life of misery, and I didn't want that for myself. And so I was like, screw it. Like, I don't want to be feeling this darkness inside of me anymore. I don't. So I came out, and it felt nice to finally get it out there. So after that, my relationship with God and Christianity actually kind of went back to normal, because I've talked with some people online and looked online about being gay and Christian, and I realized, oh, look at that, you can be gay and Christian, like it's not a mutually exclusive thing. So I thought, so I was thinking to myself, oh, okay, cool. So just because I'm gay doesn't mean my relationship with God is over. Like, I guess I'll be Christian and believe and whatnot. So cool. And so I identified as gay Christian for years and years, up until, like I said, about a year ago, I think. Yeah, a year ago. And the reason for why I no longer identify as Christian, because there really isn't like a sole reason for it. So I'm a skeptic at heart. I like to question a lot of things. I like to think deeply about a lot of things, and I realize, us as humans, as individuals, we gotta make our own luck in our own way through this journey of life. I'm not knocking down anybody that's Christian. I just want to get that out there right now, because I know some people are gonna assume, but I'm not knocking anyone that's Christian. I'm not attacking the concept of being Christian or God. I know a lot of people pray to God and ask Him, for help or guidance with anything in life, and that's perfectly okay. Like, I'm in full support of people, wanting guidance from, who they believe, and and it works out for them, and more power to them. Like, I'm happy that these people are so content with their beliefs and the guidance that the guidance that they receive from church and who they believe as God. So I just want to get that out there. I understand it. I get it. But for me personally, this world is so chaotic and I didn't really go anything. I also didn't go really. Yeah, I also didn't go through anything like traumatic to make me like rethink my thoughts about God. The only thing that would happen to me in my 20s was I was sexually assaulted, and that happened a couple years ago. But I got through that, and I don't. I mean, at most maybe it contributed like a teensy bit into my change in my into my changed way of thinking, but like it was just kind of like it was pretty much a gradual process. Like I said before, I think us as humans, we have the free will and the power to believe or not believe in whatever it is out there. And I believe that the individual is the greatest thing that can make one get through this life. I don't know if I phrased that right, but basically what I'm saying is, you gotta help. It's my personal belief with things I've been through personally that you gotta help yourself to make things happen and to get through life. Now there's nothing wrong with asking God or whoever, for guidance and help. That's perfectly fine. With things I've been through, I never really prayed out loud for help in my adult years, at least. And I kind of dug there were times where I dug my own hole and I got myself out of that hole. And I did that through sheer willpower and determination. And when I say that, I'm talking about stuff like messy relationships I was in, finding a job during a time where I was in debt and close to not making rent, some years back. It's stuff like that. And I never really asked for help or guidance from God during that time, at least out loud. I mean, I'm sure I thought about it during that time. I obviously don't remember if I did think about it during that time, but and also not only that, but I got myself therapy when I needed it during a time where I was like really, really, really down in the dumps and just in one of my lowest states of mind ever. And all of this accumulated over the years, and excuse me, I burped. And I realized, you know what? I got myself through all that. And I mean, if there is a God out there, whatever that God may be, maybe he, or it helped, maybe he didn't. I can't know that for a fact, but I got myself through those trials. And, with all that being said, I realized, you know what? I think it's perfectly okay to not believe. Especially because before I identified as agnostic, I remember thinking to myself, okay, Cameron, I say I believe in God, but do I actually believe in him, or am I just saying that because I'm afraid I'll get sent to hell if I proclaim out loud that I don't believe in God? And, well, it was the latter. Because, yeah, I was terrified of going to hell when I was younger. I mean, the concept of it still kind of terrifies me now, honestly, but not as much as before. And I also realized to myself, I shouldn't be believing in God or any God just because I'm scared to go to hell. I shouldn't believe in something purely out of fear. That's not, in my opinion, that's not how it should be. So thinking that and everything I've been through, and also I want to add this too. I feel like us as humans, we don't need to know everything that there is about this life, about this world, about anything beyond this world. I think it's okay to know, not know if there is God or a God out there. I just, and I've learned to kind of become okay with that. I'm learning to become okay with not knowing for sure or not if God is out there. And I feel like a lot of people struggle to be okay with that. Like, I feel like a lot of people are scared of the unknown, and that could be why. I'm not saying that's for sure why, but it might be why a lot of people believe in God, because they could be like me, where I was like, in the past, where I was scared to go to hell, or because they're scared to not believe in anything. But I really feel like it's okay to, like I said, not know and not believe in something. I mean, obviously, believe in yourself, absolutely, because you're the only one that's going to get yourself through this life. and, but I learned to quickly become okay with not knowing about God, if there is a God, any God out there. And that's when I became agnostic, because even though I now say to myself, I don't know if there's a God out there, I'm also open to there being one, whichever one, or a deity out there. I don't know, and I'm comfortable identifying like that. I like I said, I'm comfortable, honestly, with not knowing for sure or not if there is a God, any God. So I'm hoping what I said resonates with you guys, like, in any way. Being agnostic, and and there are some people out there who don't label themselves as anything. That's perfectly fine too. Like I said, you can. I feel like us as humans, we're allowed to label ourselves, our beliefs, however the hell we want. And if you're wondering why I don't identify as atheist instead of, or if you're wondering why I don't identify as atheist instead, it's just because, like I said, I am open to the existence of there being God or a God out there. I really feel like this universe even has so much strange and interesting stuff about it that we don't know and that we're never gonna know, because I feel like some people just can't accept that there are things that we're never ever gonna know in our lifetime and generations to come. And this world does have a lot of strange, interesting things going on, right here on planet Earth. Even in my own personal life, there have been quite a few interesting experiences that really made me think, was that divine intervention? Like, for example, there was one time where I could have very easily gotten into a car crash, and I could have gotten in major trouble with the cops. because it would have been my fault, but no car crash happened. I didn't get in trouble with the cops. You know, I was not drunk driving. I ran a red light, and I misjudged, or not misjudged, but like I thought I was gonna make it, but I didn't, and the light turned on, light for the people coming this way turned green quicker than I thought it was gonna be too. So as soon as the light turned green, one car just like zoomed toward me and nearly hit me, and but it's okay. like I said, I just sometimes think about the incident and I'm like, that I could have very, very easily caused an accident to happen, but so it's just stuff like that that makes me think, you know, maybe there is something out there that's helping out a little bit here and there. Now, whether that something is God or other gods, a deity, whatever you want to label it, I don't freaking know. And you know what? That is okay. That is perfectly okay. So yeah, that's my spiel about, being agnostic, identifying as agnostic, no longer identifying as Christian. Yeah, and that's my story. You know, let me know in the comments what you identify as and what your story is if you want to share. It's so weird like saying this out loud, kind of, just because, you know, like even 5 years ago, calling myself agnostic would have seemed so wrong and weird. But now, you know, I'm just like, well, yeah, speaking gibberish right now. I'm okay with it. Yeah, I'm perfectly okay with it. And like I said, no hate to anyone at all who's Christian, Buddhist, Muslim, whatever. You know, whatever you want to believe. You know, your beliefs are your own. You know, keep a hold of that. Especially if it helps, especially if you think it helps you throughout your life. Keep a hold of that. Never let go of it. So, thank you everyone so much for watching my video. I will see you next time. Hope you have a good day or night wherever you are. Bye bye.